Blue Rock Fest, huh? Okay, that's either an overly apt name considering who the main focus of this episode is all about, or they just misspelled blues rock, the fusion music genre, which if that's the case, can we get AC/DC in on this? Because this episode kind of needs them. Thanks to a nomination from Misaki, Aoi's band managed to score a spot at the aforementioned Blue Rock Fest. Ignoring the overly symbolic name of the festival, Aoi was just excited over the idea that she was going to achieve her dream of being able to play on the same stage that her idol was going to stand on. And she ended up sharing this little detail with Misaki herself, who whispered, "Yeah, we'll get back to that in just a bit." Anyway, due to a sudden schedule change, Aoi and Misaki's bands ended up sharing a time slot with each taking a different stage. So yeah, they got that whole Aoi versus Misaki part of the title out of the way pretty quickly, and it ends up being a total curb stomp battle with the little known indie band of course losing out to the established professionals in terms of crowd draw. Aoi still performs admirably, but it's clear that the small turnout and the fans leaving in the middle of her performance doesn't quite sit well with her. Okay, while this whole setup is kind of cliche, I still kind of like it. Aoi clearly strives to become a great artist who's all about the music and such, but here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, whenever somebody says they're in it only for the art, they're lying. Yes, they might have a mostly sincere dedication to the art, but many deep down want some form of recognition for their struggles. It's only natural. Up until now, Aoi's likely never experienced this problem because she's never expected a larger than normal turnout. She comes from a small town in the hills after all. However, now that she's playing at a huge event where there's hundreds of people walking around looking for a good performance, she can't help but feel that everything she's worked towards has been for nothing. Aoi claimed that she had achieved her dreams, but truth be told, she still had a ways to go. Misaki was disappointed with her because she knew Aoi still had a lot of growing to do both as a person and as a musician. So this episode could teach developing artists how more often than not, things won't work out exactly the way they want to, and that it's alright to be frustrated, just as long as you get up, dust yourself off, and try again tomorrow. Just too bad the execution here is a little off. With her performances over for the day, Aoi headed back to the cashier to rest up. And for once, it was at a reasonable location as opposed to, say, on the water or something stupid like that. Wanting to cheer her up, her teammates tried to make some simple sweets with her, gummy candy. Unfortunately, they didn't turn out so great since they had thrown in a little bit too much gelatin and they had become very chewy. Yeah, as someone who'd recently worked with gelatin, I can tell you should try to use as little as needed, cause this stuff, can sneak up to high heaven. Ichika tries to write them off by saying that they're good since they represent what Aoi's all about. However, the only thing Aoi currently saw herself as was... Meanwhile, Alicio had arrived at the festival to essentially steal Kirakira from the concession stands. Oh, I think I can already hear one poor bastard crying out in despair over this. During his little snack raid, he spots Aoi running away in tears, and like many Precure villains, his creeper tendencies come out. And okay, seriously, of all the frames they could animate with fine detail, they chose that. Oh, please don't give the doujinshi authors ideas. No, he instead manipulates Aoi's despair to brainwash her into becoming a savage lion. You, sir, are officially a better villain than Junko Enoshima. With a popsicle monster backing her up, Aoi almost destroys one of the festival stages until... Didn't we kind of go over this already? Yes, thank you, convenient flashback. And that's all it takes. Hold on a minute. What? Seriously, that was way too easy. I'll save talking about it for the end of the video. Anyway, Aoi snaps out of her brainwashing, her orb transforms just like she else, and they defeat a frozen abomination for the second time in a row. The episode ends with Aoi sharing her gummy candies with Misaki and essentially telling her that her pursuits to become a great musician were far from over and that she would one day surpass her idol. This episode was so close to being really good, but it just kinda missed the mark. Alright, first let's talk about the positives. The bits of Aoi tensing up over realizing she was playing to a near empty crowd were directed really well. Her face changing from overly excited to absolutely deflated were really well drawn. In fact, all the subtle little touches given to her in the scene really helped to create a good sense of unease for the struggling musician. Yes, I've seen a lot of stuff like this in more music-focused anime, but the fact that I'm seeing it in Precure being handled with a generous amount of maturity is pretty novel. Major props to Tomo Muranaka, who despite being the second youngest in the cast, really hit all of the right emotional notes. That said, those are all the positives I have with the first half of the episode. The second half is where it kinda falls apart for me. Okay, actually, another good part I liked was Alessio. He's become the classic Precure villain by being creepy in all the right ways. Manipulating people's weaknesses, working from the shadows, he's just a good villain. So I think his scheme of brainwashing Aoi was well done. It's just the resolution that really bothers me. It was way too sudden, and in my opinion doesn't match up with the morals that the episode was building towards. Wasn't Aoi struggling with the realization that her band was still a relatively insignificant little indie group? So what the heck does being herself have to do with anything? I mean, I guess the defining aspect of her character is her love for her music, but that's still a rather roundabout way of coming to such a conclusion that instantly undoes the brainwashing. Wouldn't this scene have been more effective if Misaki or even her bandmates played a part in waking her up, either through a flashback or just coming out and telling her not to destroy the stage? They could have done a lot more is what I'm trying to say. I don't dislike this episode, I'm just disappointed. Aoi's one of my favorite characters of this season, so I expect more out of her episodes. If you haven't seen them yet, I just posted up 2 new videos this week. The first was a reaction to the new Clear Force Doki Doki trailer, yeah they're at it again, and the second was a cooking video, this time of Aoi's lion ice cream. I swear to God, I did not plan for things to work out like this. It just so happened that this episode matched up perfectly with my recording schedule. And it was also the episode where I used gelatin for the first time, and hopefully the last time. Nonetheless, I am now switching gears to focus on reviewing Precure All-Stars Deluxe 2. So look forward to it, and until then though, farewell for now my friends, and hold on a minute. Don't worry, I'll get to reviewing your guys' show soon enough. Just gotta review a couple more movies, okay? Don't worry, your time will come, your time will come. It's never easy trying to satisfy everyone.